Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stampin' Chat. I am Gina from Gina K Designs, and I am so honored to see all of you already jumping in here, both on YouTube and on Facebook. Welcome, welcome, everyone from all over the country and all around the world. It is evening over in Europe, and I see a lot of our European friends jumping in on this afternoon's live as well. So that's really fun. We're so glad to see all of you. And I apologize for the last couple of Thursdays that we couldn't be here. Believe it or not, we are still moving, even though we were supposed to be out completely by yesterday. That didn't work out. We're still moving stuff. I can't believe how much stuff you accumulate in 5 years in one location. I don't know if you guys know that this is our 6th move of our business, and Tom back and hunch. He's got the hump on his back to prove it. But this is our final move because our new building sits on 2.5 acres. So if we need to get any more space, we can just add on to this building. So that's exciting. No more moves for us. We're staying where we are. And a lot of you have asked how our house move is going. We didn't move. Our house, we're only, 20 minutes away from work and kind of the same distance as our old location. So we're staying put right where we are here at home. So welcome, everyone. I'm just giving everybody a chance to jump in here. This afternoon, I thought that it would be fun to break out the Wreath Builder, the original Gina K Designs Wreath Builder, and make a wreath card and do kind of a fun layout. We'll do a traditional one, and then we'll do something a little bit more, a little bit different. Okay, so if you guys aren't familiar with our Wreath Builder templates, they come in a 2-pack, and they also have a center positioning piece. Now, when we first released this Wreath Builder several years ago, it was probably like 3 or 4 years ago now, right? Oh my gosh, time flies, right? It didn't have this centerpiece, these centerpieces. It just came with the templates like this. But we redesigned it, and now we sell it with these 2 little centerpieces, and I'll explain to you what these are used for in just a bit. Now, some people say to me, well, can I just buy the centerpieces? And let me explain to you why we have to say no to that, because it's not any different in price. You see, when they make this, right, when they make this design, they need this so that they can cut it. So this ends up just being trash. This is more expensive to produce because it's got a bunch of laser grid lines on it. So that's why the new Wreath Builders are a little more expensive. But even if we just sold this part, this then would just be trash. So we figured, why not put it all in the package? And this way, if you have a friend over, you can share the positioning guides, and you can have 2 sets of Wreath Builders. So you and a friend can stamp and make wreaths together. All right, so let me show you what this looks like up close here. So you can see it comes with 2 different size templates in it. It comes with a 4-inch template and a 3 3/4-inch template. And then it's got the center star positioning guide that goes inside each one. Now we're going to use the smaller of the 2 today. I tend to use the smaller one more than I use the larger one. I don't know why. It's just kind of, what I like. But the larger one is great, especially if you like doing larger cards. It gives you a much bigger wreath. All right, and I keep my Wreath Builder templates in one of our stencil pockets. And good news, our stamp pockets and our stencil pockets are all back in stock. So I know a lot of you have been waiting to get these because you're looking forward to organizing all your stencils and all of your stamps, and these are all back in stock now. All right. So let me give you a little tip here. And I know if you've seen me do Wreath Builder videos before, you may have seen these little tips and tricks, but I know we always have a lot of brand new people joining us. So what I do when I use my Wreath Builder templates, this is the Misty mouse pad. So it's black on one side, and then it's got this washable surface on it with the grid lines. If you don't have this, you have just the plain pad, and that's black on both sides. Whichever one you're using, put a little bit of tape, kind of roll it in a circle like that, and then put it down on your Misty like that in 2 spots, and then put your mat on top and press it down. That will make sure that your mat doesn't slip. And I actually do that no matter what, whether I'm using the Wreath Builder or not, because sometimes it's not your cardstock that moves, it's the mat that moves. So you can see it's not a perfect fit, the mat. There is a little bit of space. So by taping that down on the back side, you eliminate any movement at all, and it allows for that second stamping if you need to stamp an image a second time. Now, these Wreath Builder templates are marked at the bottom. Etched in the bottom left-hand corner is the size, and I'm using the 3.75 inch template, which is the 3 3/4 inch. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape this down with a little bit of washi tape, because again, the last thing we want this to do is move when we're building our wreath. So I'm going to tape this down with a little washi tape. You can use purple tape or whatever kind of tape that you want. Washi tape and purple tape will not damage your mat. So, you know, like to make sure that it doesn't get sticky on there. Okay, I did use a little bit of lotion, so hopefully that'll stay in place. Now we have two different sets of master layouts that work really well with the Wreath Builder. So the 3 3/4 inch Wreath Builder, if you want to build a wreath that is a A2 size wreath, then use Master Layouts 1, because this gives you the 3 3/4 inch by 5 inch piece and then the layering piece. If you want to make a square wreath card, then our Master Layouts 3 was built for the Wreath Builder. I love this die set. So this has a die that will cut the perfect size for the 3 3/4 inch one, also the perfect size for the bigger Wreath Builder template, which is the 4 inch one. And then it also cuts the layering mats. Then it also has these two smaller squares that fit our mini Wreath Builder template. So if you have the mini, you can make little holiday tags and things like that using the mini, and it's got the perfect size to cut squares for the mini Wreath Builder. And then it's got these circles, and I love these circles because these circles really work nicely with the greetings in our Wreath Builder stamp sets. It's a perfect size. The larger one is the perfect size for several of our different. Let me grab a couple more sets. Here's the Autumn Wreath Builder. You can see it fits really nicely. Our holiday one, you know, you can do all these different things. And of course, the original Wreath Builder. So these circles are great for that purpose. And each circle set has a main one that's stitched and then a layering one, so you can get the little black shadow edge or whatever color shadow edge you want. Then it also has all of these little flag dies, because sometimes you might want to do a wreath with a circle in the center, but then you might want to add a little extra greeting going across like that. So that's kind of fun to have. Plus, these are super useful for so many of our strip sentiment sets. So that's the Master Layouts 3 die set, and I really, really highly recommend that one if you like building wreaths. So let's cut. Let me get my Spellbinders machine here. I'm going to back up just a little bit so I'm not too close. And we're going to cut a couple of pieces here for the Wreath Builder. All right, so I'm going to use that 3 3/4 inch template. So I'm going to use the smaller of those two big stitched squares. And then when I do wreaths, I really like using our heavier weight cardstock as opposed to our lighter weight cardstock. So our heavier weight cardstock is 120 pounds. Our lighter weight cardstock is 80 pounds. The reason I like using the heavier one is because the cardstock then actually sits up inside this template, and it's easier to pick it up. The thinner cardstock can slip under the cardstock. So by using a heavier weight cardstock, that helps reduce the slippage. Okay, slippage. Is that a word, Tom?
It is now.
It is now. Okay, so I'm going to cut one of these. Oh, goodness. Oh, Sue, thank you. I'm glad that you are liking all the master layout sets. We have another one in the works. Oh, look at how dirty my plates are. My goodness. I have to do that dishwasher trick that one of our wonderful members shared the other night when I was screaming about my dirty plates. She said she put hers in her dishwasher. Okay, so you can see, I don't know, can you see that stitching on there, Tom? Does that show up at all? I think it does. I'm trying to see here. Yeah, not so good, not so well. It's kind of,
I see a little.
okay, so it's kind of bright, but you can see the little stitched edge. And remember, for those of you that are new here, I always share my cards over on YouTube. Go to my channel and click on the community tab. I always share my cards, and also in our Facebook group called Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends. I also share them on our Facebook page as well. Okay, so I'm gonna cut one more here, because I might do the stitched one on the second one. We'll see. We'll see. Because I have a little plan, just in case you missed one of these videos, that I have a really cool kind of fun thing that you can do. Alrighty. So let me clean off my, my mess here. There we go. Okay, and then while I'm at it, I'm going to cut a couple circles that we can stamp on. And for the circles, I'm just going to use the lighter weight cardstock. This is a lighter weight piece, an 80 pound. I don't feel like I need to use heavy base weight for the little greeting circle in the center. So I'm going to cut 2 of these out for my greetings. Yes, thank you so much, Judy. If you don't mind and you're watching on YouTube, I sure would love if you give this video a thumbs up and you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video. You'll always get a little notification if you have your YouTube notifications on. It'll drop right down on your smartphone saying Gina K Designs Stamp TV is going live, or there's a new video up, something like that. So this way you don't ever miss any of the videos. So I've cut 2 circles out here, and now I'm going to use the other pieces, the coordinating pieces here that work with, let me find the smaller of the 2. You see I have these 2 plain squares. I'm going to use the smaller one and the smaller square and the larger of the 2 plain circles to make some background pieces here. I think I'm going to need a bigger piece of black cardstock, though. So let me get a piece.
Sometimes you have to show how to do a rectangle in it.
Oh, yeah, I can show how to do a rectangle for sure. I will show you how to do that. So I do have, for those of you that like doing a full A2 size card, I do have videos over on my channel. We have a whole playlist of Wreath Builder videos, and I show you how to stamp on that A2 size card. Doing a spray, also doing an oval. So that's kind of a fun video. Ooh, that was loud. And if we have time today, I'll show you. I might not make a card out of it, but I can show you how to stamp on it. Alrighty. And then I need one more piece here. So do you guys, let me ask you guys, do you prefer to see today all A2 size cards, or do you prefer to see a square card as well? So let's see what you guys think. Wow, that was loud. That just like break the internet. So let me know what you think. If you would like to see all A2, I can do those instead. Or if you'd like to see a square card as well, I will certainly do that. It's totally up to you guys. You know what I just did? I just cut these out, I think, with the wrong die. Yeah, I did. See, it's live, people. That's what happens. So, all right, over there, sound effect man. I might not even need this if everybody wants to see just rectangles. Oh, good. So there's some square people here. All right, so for the squares, that's me, I'm a square. For the square lovers, I will do the 1 square card, and then I will definitely do the A2 size. And I have such a cool layout for the A2 today. I think you're gonna like it. And then I'll show you how to stamp right on an A2 card. So we'll do all 3 techniques. All right, so I have these nice frames left over that I can use for something else. Oh my gosh. All right, did I do my circles yet? No. See, I got distracted I was getting all excited. Now I'm going to cut two of these circles. Whew. No, I'm not tired. I'm not tired at all. Don't worry. I'm a little tired, but it's okay. I think by Sunday, we will be completely moved into our new location, and that will be it. Tom, I will not make you move again, I promise. I've been finding all kinds of boxes and things with old class kits. And I actually found something really fun, and I'm going to do a giveaway. I should do one on YouTube and in the community tab, and one on Facebook, in our Facebook group. And you can enter both. I'm going to give away 2 old mini kits that I found. They're brand new. They were just our samples, and just our samples, so our team knew how to build the kits. And then a lot of times those samples just get put on the shelf and they never end up getting sold. So I found 2 of them, and I think it would be really fun I'll show you which ones I'm giving away. I'm going to give away this Pop Art Flowers kit. I'll do one of these on Facebook in our Facebook group and one on YouTube, and the My Anchor mini kit. So that's pretty exciting. 2 different kits. So we'll see. We'll do that this weekend. So look for those giveaways this weekend on Facebook and my YouTube community tab, and I will link that. Okay. All right. So now we've got our wreath builder all set up, and you can see how nicely this fits right into that open spot. So what we're going to do is, for those of you that are new to the wreath builder, we are going to do a simple square card, and I want to use this set. This is such a fun little set. This is called the Sketched Wreath Builder, and I love it because it's got birthday. It does have a Valentine's greeting in there because we released this right around Valentine's Day last year, but it's got a little birthday, like a tall birthday gift, a small birthday gift, and then it's got all these cute little sprigs and flowers. And then it's got a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year one, and it's got a Happy Birthday to You. It also has a to and from, which is great if you want to use it for the mini wreath builder. You can make a tag out of it. So I thought I would use this one just because these flowers really seem like they would be conducive to the technique that we did on Monday night, which is making that stamp look like a layering stamp. So let's start with this sprig first. So we're going to place this right here on the edge like this. Okay. Now, when you're placing your stamp, you want to make sure that your cardstock is in the square orientation. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here so you can see all this happen a little bit closer. So you're in the square orientation, and then you can go right up to the edge or to the stitched line if you're using the master layouts. Now, why do we want to have it in square orientation? The reason is because if you have it in diamond orientation and you put it here like this, there's a possibility that when you turn it, you're going to be outside of the cardstock. And you don't want that. You want everything to stay inside of the cardstock. So by using the square orientation, you eliminate that from happening. I'm going to tilt that out just a little bit like that. Okay. All right. And for those of you that are wondering about stock, we are getting more stock in little by little. It's coming back in stock. A lot of our manufacturers are still slow, very slow, because they still have staff members that aren't back. They're still feeling the effects of not being able to get the products that they need to manufacture our products because of COVID. And I know that sounds like an excuse, but it is what it is. You know, that's how COVID is affecting people. So as soon as those things come back in stock, we pop them right in inventory. We did get our Wreath Builder templates back, which is exciting. And we've got a lot of this stamp set is in stock. This sketched wreath builder is in stock. I'm trying to use things that you guys can get if you want them. Okay, so the technique that I did the other day on Monday is a technique where you make your stamps look like two-step stamping. So I'm going to start with a jelly bean green ink cube, which I really like using ink cubes for this, but you can use your ink pads, so don't feel like you have to run out and get special ink to do this. But if you don't have ink and you're looking into it and the Wreath Builder is your jam, then you might want to get the smaller cubes to start. And I'm going to use the Zig Clean Color Real Brush Deep Green for this. Okay, so I'm going to start by stamping that in jelly bean, and then I'm going to take the deep green and I'm going to add a little bit of deep green just at the bottom, and I'm going to stamp it. And you can see I've got that two-toned look, and it's so pretty. So when you're doing something like this with the Wreath Builder, you do want something like the Tidy Towel so you can quickly clean your stamp but not move it. And that makes the Tidy Towel really nice for this job. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this to the next position, which is the diamond orientation, and I'm going to do the same thing again. All right. So,
Jan wants to know, how do you decide exactly where to place the first stamp?
That's a great question. So I usually place it right along the edge, and then I like to turn it just a little bit, because by turning it a little bit, it fluffs the wreath out a little bit more. If it's totally straight up and down, they're more likely to connect. If you turn it, angle it in a little bit, the wreath looks a little fluffier. So that's how I do that, depending on what I want. If I want it all connected, then I'll do it straight up and down. Okay, again, I'm adding that little bit of deep green marker just to add some depth. And then I'm cleaning it each time. And you can see I'm just turning it as I go. Now, once you've come up with a design, you don't have to turn it into a card, but you can use it as a template to lay more than one stamp down at a time, because you know if you lay them right on top of your finished wreath that you're going to get the same look, but then you could stamp the flowers and the leaves all at the same time. But for the sake of this video, we're going to do it this way, because this is the easy way to learn. And this is kind of the safest way if you're new with the Wreath Builder. I like this little leaf. It's so pretty. Alrighty.
What kind of marker is that?
This is a Zig Clean Color Real Brush marker. You don't have to use this kind of marker. You can use a Tombow marker or a Stampin' Up marker. Any kind of water-based marker will work for this technique, because you're blending water-based ink with a water-based marker. You can even use watercolor for it if you don't have markers. You can pick it up on a paintbrush and add a little bit of a deeper color. But that's what I'm using.
What about Spectrum Noir?
Spectrum Noir markers are alcohol markers, so you don't want to use those, but there is the Spectrum Aqua markers, which are water-based, and you can use those. Copics you shouldn't use for this. All right. So I'm loving the two-tone on this one. Just that little extra bit of color just really creates that pretty depth. All righty. So I hope you guys are all having a beautiful week. It was beautiful earlier in the week here in Wisconsin, and Tom took the lining out of his winter coat. And then today it was like 28 degrees out, and he forgot that he didn't have his lining in, and he was chattering all morning trying to move things. Okay, so now I finished my first pass, and you can see how pretty that looks. You can use as many images as you want, Anne. There's no limit. But I will tell you, with wreath building, less is more. So I try to stick with just 3 images per wreath. If I want to add more, I might add one little accent. Okay, now I'm going to take this stamp off and put it back on my stamp sheet. And now I'm going to get a flower image. Let's see here. I think I'll use this flower image here. Right here, like this. Okay. And I can do a second little flower image coming off of there. Now you can see I turned my cardstock back into square orientation. And the reason that I did that was because, again, you always want to start in square orientation so that your image doesn't go off the cardstock. It's easy to forget because you'll always finish your wreath in diamond orientation. So now let's say you don't have Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers and you want to do an aqua card and you want it to look two-toned. Maybe you have two separate ink colors that will work. Here is Turquoise Sea and Tranquil Teal. So I'm going to ink that with some Turquoise Sea, and then I'm going to take my Tranquil Teal and I'm going to add a little bit of color just near the bottom of that flower. And I'm going to stamp that. And that gives me a two-tone look for my flower. What's a tag, please? Oh, I'm not sure what that question is. Catherine, a tag die?
I don't know.
Oh, a tag. Oh, yeah. What I was talking about before, if you wanted to make like tags for the holidays to put on your presents. If you're asking me, she might be asking somebody else. All right, I'm going to do another one here, Turquoise Sea, and then I'm going to add it onto the other side this time, just to make it look a little bit different. Ooh, that's close to the edge there. Okay, we're going to do this. Alrighty, here we go. And again, I'm going to do the other side with that second color. Ooh, I love, love, love this color combination. Yeah, the two-tone flowers are really pretty. If you have the Autumn Wreath Builder, two-tone leaves are gorgeous. You could do half in like jelly bean green and then do the other half in like faded brick or honey mustard, and it really gives you that autumny feel, like the leaves are changing colors. It's so pretty.
What is that stamp set again?
This is called Sketched Wreath Builder. Sketched, like the flowers have kind of a sketchy feel to them. Okay. Yeah, I'm liking this. Alrighty. Here we go. There's another one. This is, if you've never used the Wreath Builder before, I think what you'll find is it's super relaxing to just sit and make wreaths. You don't actually have to have a project in mind, which is nice because there are those times where you don't have any mojo and you just don't know what to make. And doing something like this is just super relaxing. All right, one more. Okay. Here we go. Last one of this flower. Nice. Okay, so now you can see we've got this perfect wreath beginning. I think that we need another flower coming off of this. So let's pick a different flower and we'll have that coming in down here like this. And I kind of want to stick to the same color scheme because I really like this kind of blue and green look. So we'll go a little bit close there. And really, you know, I'm just finding an empty spot to put that in. I'm not worried that it's connected to the leaves because really once I get this black piece on here, you're not going to see the bottoms of the leaves anyway. So you don't have to worry about that too much. All right, so we'll do the same kind of thing here. We're going to use this same color combination. And we'll add that right there. And you can really see this starting to come to life now. And again, I'm cleaning my flower after each pass because I don't want to contaminate my lighter turquoise if there's any of that tranquil teal still left on my stamp. Just a quick blot is all you need. Yeah, I think it's nice with that second flower in there. It just feels more, I don't know, feels more complete to me. Some of it will get covered up, but that's okay. We don't have to worry about that. It'll still look pretty. Okay. Coming together. I feel like I'm going to need one more little image in here, but we don't always have to use the Wreath Builder once we've got most of our template together, like most of our wreath together. You could go in and hand stamp a little heart in the missing places if you want. But of course, if you use the Wreath Builder, it's going to be consistent and perfect every time. So why not? And you can see how easy this is. I mean, there's not a lot to it. It's just really picking up your cardstock and turning it to the next position. Couldn't be easier, right? That's what I love about this, because the cards look complex and they look fancy and they look difficult, but they're so easy. Alrighty. And our last one. Now, you don't even need to use a circle. If you like the way this looks and you want all of your flowers to remain seen, by all means, just stamp your greeting right in the center of your card. You don't have to. Look at how pretty that is. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I love that. Let me show you what I'm saying here. You could just stamp your greeting right in there in black. You wouldn't have to use the circle, because the circle will cover those flowers. So maybe we'll do that. We'll just stamp that right in there. Now I'm going to add one more little color here. What color should I add? I'm going to use this little heart. You know, it'd be pretty to do a little gold embossing in there. Why don't I do that? Let's do that. We'll add a little bit of embossing. So I'm going to use my embossing magic pad. And this, I love this idea of having just a little sparkle going around. So I'm going to pick that up. This is just a little heart image. We'll just do some gold hearts going around. So I do have my embossing and watermark ink cube right here. And I'm going to stamp the little hearts going around. I'm going to try to stamp them all. Hopefully nothing will dry too much before I get finished. It doesn't take very long to stamp them, especially when I'm not cleaning in between. We'll see what we get. This will feel very much like a little bit of an embellishment. I don't know, did I just do this one? I don't think so. You can't see where you stopped and where you started with the embossing ink. That's why, honestly, I know this sounds crazy, but I like when my embossing ink pads get a little dirty, because they stamp with like a little gray film and you can see where you just stamped already. I know that sounds goofy. Now, if you miss one, don't worry about it. You can always go back and add the last one. Just don't take that stamp off until you're completely done. Let's see. I see that. Okay. I'll go here. If you turn your cardstock to the side, you can see the little bit of a shine left behind. So let's see. Did I get them all? Yeah, I think I did. Okay. So let me find my gold embossing powder. And we'll emboss those. Hopefully I didn't wait too long. Oh, they're embossing okay, or grabbing the powder okay anyway. Hopefully you guys can see this. This one, I feel like there needs to be a little bit more powder on there. There we go. Okay. I think I blew powder right off of a couple of these hearts. I was a little overzealous. Like the big bad wolf here. Okay. Alrighty, so I'm going to make everybody nervous now. I'm going to emboss right over my Misty, but I'm going to hold it up. So there's a lot of clearance. Yes, the Wreath Builder is back in stock, Danielle. Went back in stock last night. And if for some reason your screen froze, just go out and come back in. We are still chugging along here. Does it look okay on your end, Tom? Okay, good. Oh, that's pretty. That little bit of gold in there really makes a difference. Isn't that pretty? Just having that little bit of shine. I love that. All right, and let's stamp our greeting right on there, and then we'll assemble this little square card and we'll get on with our next layout. Okay. We'll use that birthday greeting. I think that's a really good one. I do need some birthday cards coming up. We have a lot of spring birthdays in our family. So I'm going to do this in black, and it's going to go right over a little bit of some of the images, but that's okay. It's a nice, bold greeting. So, okay. Now, if you're worried about this cardstock moving, you can always take a little bit of purple tape. Find my purple tape here. And you can tape it down onto your template just to be safe in case you have to stamp it a second time. Okay. So I'm going to use my black Onyx ink pad for this. Alrighty. Tom, you're getting compliments on your great camera work.
Of course.
I'm using my Chucky tool here to give me a little extra pressure so I don't have to stamp it again. Oh, that's so pretty. I like it. Gently take that off. Okay. And now I'll assemble this card quickly. Let's get rid of this. I think I'm going to use maybe one of the other sets for my next card. Okay, so this is going to get layered onto this piece right here. And you know what I did? So 2 days ago, I went to work and I took my tape runner with me because I was assembling some cards at my desk during lunch. And I left all my tape runners there because I had 3 of them and I took them all. So I found this little ThermoWeb one that I'm going to use today. And that'll work. I'm just putting this on top so it's a little easier to see than the black mat. And then I think we need a nice turquoise or sea glass card base for this. So here is a sea glass card base. That will look really pretty. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim this. This is a regular A2 card base. Remember the one that I folded wrong and I threw across the room? I wish I could find that one because that would be perfect for this. So this is a regular A2 card base. It's just 4 1/4 inches by 11, scored at 5 1/2 inches and folded. I'm going to cut the bottom off at 4 1/4 inches. And I can save these to either cut some words or some flags for another card, or even for just a little belly band that might go along the center of a future card. So I will put those aside. And then I'll pop that right onto my card base. Alrighty. So there we go. There's my first little Wreath Builder card of the day with that little bit of embossing in there. Well, I cut these white and black pieces out using our master layouts. And believe it or not, Sue, they're so easy to line up when they're perfectly cut. So that's how I get them perfect. Now, I didn't put this on perfect. So this is dot style tape. So it's forgiving. I have a minute to move it. There we go. That's better. So I'll definitely get a nice picture of this and I'll share this over in our YouTube community tab and over in our Facebook group. Yes, that's what we designed Master Layouts 3 for, to go along with our Wreath Builder templates. Okay, so now I'm going to show you, do you see that moved? I'm going to tape that all back down again. I'm going to show you another fun card idea. And then at the end, I'll show you how to stamp onto an A2 piece. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut out a piece. I've got, where's my cardstock here? I guess I could use this. I'm going to use this. That'll be kind of fun. All right. So I'm going to use the Autumn Wreath Builder for this because I really only want to use 2 stamps because I want to make this card quickly. I want to show you a little alternating technique. And then I want to go ahead and do my fun layout. So I'm going to use this big, where is it? This big branchy image here. I'm going to use this one and I'm going to use this tiny little flower right here. So this is the Autumn Wreath Builder. I might use a different greeting though, so I don't want to do an autumn one, I'll use a different grading. I'll go back to the sketched wreath builder and make another birthday card, or maybe I'll use one of the originals.
You're not doing a rectangle, right?
I'm not doing, well, this is going to be an A2 card when I'm done.
Okay.
So it is going to be an A2, but it's going to be a little bit of a different kind of A2. The Master Layouts 3 die set, Barbara, was designed for the wreath builder. Okay, so I'm putting this right up to the edge here, and you can see, again, I curved it in so that it's a fluffier wreath. It's not going to be straight up and down. And then I am going to use this. I'm just going to do a single tone card, so it's not going to have that little extra depth. And I'm going to use fresh asparagus for my green. I love this particular stamp so much because it's got a few little open spots in it, which is really fun because then you can go back and you can color those in a different green. Okay, so I've stamped my first image. Now I'm going to turn this to the next spot. The stamping on this is going to go very quickly. All right. Here we go. When you first start this, you think, oh, this isn't working. It always looks weird to me. It's like, that doesn't look right. But then when it's all done, it's so pretty. Okay. You're right, Tom? Did you fall?
In my chair.
You slipped in your chair. Oh, sorry, guys. The man makes me laugh. What can I say? Oh, you should see him moving some of this stuff. How much? Yesterday he moved the biggest compressor I ever saw for our lasers. And how much do you think that thing weighed, Tom?
Oh, too much. They need to make those lighter.
They can't though. They're so big. And you can see I'm just turning and stamping as I go. That thing had to weigh a ton. He had to lift part of it by himself. And I'm not trying to laugh, but I'm laughing. Okay. So I'm going to put this stamp back and we're going to use this little flower. Now, just in case you guys are thinking about, okay, I don't want all my flowers to be the same color. I'd like some of them to be pink and I'd like some of them to be purple. Let me show you the easiest way. If you've never seen this video before, I'll show you the easiest way to alternate color. So I have a wild lilac ink cube here. And then let's do passionate pink because those colors look so pretty together. And I'll show you how to alternate. So I'm going to put this flower right in here like that. Excuse my head if it's in the way. Okay. So what you're going to do is for your first color, you're going to stamp just on the square orientations. You're not going to turn to the diamonds. Gosh, I have a hair in my lipstick. It's driving me nuts. And I'm pretty sure that I had ink on my fingers, so I may actually have a mustache now. Okay, so I've stamped my first one. Yes, I am using my tidy towel, and it is damp. It's never really wet. I keep it just damp. Like if I wrang it out, no water would come out of it, but it's completely wet. Okay, so I've got my first one. Now, instead of going to the next orientation, which is normally diamond, I'm going to skip it. And I'm going to do just the squares next. And this is passionate pink. So you can see, I love the design of this template because it does make it very easy for anyone to use. And I even found a lot of people after this came out told me that, you know, they stamp with their young children and their kids could do it so easily, which is a good thing because that's where I'm at. I'm at kid level. So if I can do it, your kids can do it. Okay, so now we've got the 4 flowers. Now we're just going to stamp all on the diamonds. We still haven't moved that stamp. And we're going to add some purple to the mix.
Argita's here.
Hey, Argita. It's probably nighttime where Argita is, right?
Yeah,
in India. Welcome, Arjita, our wonderful, amazing friend and artist. Okay. So you can see I'm just doing all the diamonds now. So I didn't have to like clean my stamp in between every turn to do a different color. I only had to clean my stamp once. And then that made easy work of alternating colors. Okay. So I'm going to put this stamp back so I don't lose it. And then I'm going to get a little marker here. Let me see if I can find a good color marker. I'm going to grab a Copic. Just something kind of bright. Let's see what this looks like. This is kind of a brighter green. And I'm just going to quickly color these little ones in just to add a little extra fun green in there. Sometimes when you do this, it's like adding a whole other stamp color, but you're not adding another stamp because you can see this is only 2 stamps and look how full this wreath is. And that's the problem a lot of people have when they're wreath building. They try to just add too much. You really don't need a lot. Something so simple, 2 stamps. It's so fast and easy. And 2 stamps is plenty to give you a great wreathy look without, you know, needing to do too much. It just kind of gets too muddy if you do too much and you can't really see the designs anymore. Okay, and so I was saying earlier how if you've lost your mojo, this is a great mojo starter because you don't have to really make a card. You just make wreaths. You could throw a bunch of these in your drawer and be done for the day. And then you can decide later, okay, I need a sympathy card. I need a wedding card. I need a fast birthday card. And you can just grab one of these wreaths out, add your greeting, put it on your card base, and you're ready to go. Okay, so let's take this paper cutter now because we're going to turn this into an A2 size card. So I'm going to take this paper cutter and I'm going to cut it on an angle. So I know you can't see this as too well. Got a little shine here, but I'm putting the point at one corner and at the bottom corner right on the blade, right on the edge of the blade, because I'm going to cut this from one side to the other side. Scary, isn't it? This is the scary part. Okay. See what I did there? I cut my wreath. Thank you. I think some people made that sound, but I couldn't hear it, so it made me feel better to hear you do it. Okay, so now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of black cardstock and I'm going to cut that down to 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. Now that is the exact same size as the template that the square template was a 3 3/4 inch template, but I don't want to layer. I just want to go right to the edge, but it's going to allow me to line up these 2 pieces perfectly like this. See? And this is going to turn into a swirl, like an S. Isn't that pretty? All right, and then we're going to do something in between. So let me find my tape.
You ever do a wreath with something other than a flower?
Yeah, you can do wreaths with birthday candles, birthday presents, leaves, you know, really tiny little geometric shapes like hearts and stars and just any little stamps that you have work in the wreath builder. Okay, so I'm taping this onto the one corner, making sure that it's pretty even in the back. Okay, and don't worry if there's like a tiny little edge showing because we're going to actually put this on another piece of black cardstock. All right, we're going to do the same thing down here. I actually have to pick it up. I need to like hold it to line it up. And I want to make sure you guys can see this. So let me get a lighter piece of cardstock here. Makes it easier for you to see. All right, there we go. I'm on both edges. Oops. I'm stuck. Okay, there we go. Okay, right. So there we have our little S-swirl. Kara, I don't think the video has frozen, but if you go out and come back in, you should be okay. So now I have, and I don't even know if this is the right size, but I think it is. I have some of these pre-cut strips of our heavy base weight cardstock. And this strip measures 3/4 of an inch. You want to make sure that it's 3/4 of an inch wide, but I don't care how long it is, as long as it extends past the edge of your card. And we're going to fill that in like this. So Kara, if you're having video issues, I'm sorry about that. I think though that the replay will be fine. So if you missed any parts, you can always go back and check that out. So I'm going to tape this right in here like this. And I'm just looking at it as I go. I'm not like making the commitment to press it down all the way until I make sure that my lines are fairly even. Okay. And then I go and I put the pressure down. Now I'm going to trim those off from the back. So I'm going to press this right up along the edge of my paper cutter. I can't go to the top really because this is in the way, but if I press my fingers right up against the edge of the blade and make sure that that black cardstock is right up against the edge, then I can chop that little excess piece off. Then I can go up to the top.
You know
on the
what
other
size
side.
the black is?
The black is 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And so that gave me that cool little design going down the center. So this is an A2 size card is what we're going to make. Right now it's not A2, but we're going to put it on an A2 and it will be an A2 size card. Okie dokie. Now we're going to put this onto a piece that is just a little bit bigger. And it measures 3 7/8 of an inch by 5 1/8 of an inch, I think. Maybe this cardstock isn't cut very well. Let me try cutting another one. We'll see. Okay, so 3 7/8 of an inch by 5 1/8 of an inch. Now you can also use your Master Layouts 1 die set to cut the largest rectangle, and that will be the right size for this as well. I have to cut this a little bit more. You see how that's sticking out on that side? I wasn't very good at that. So we're going to cut that off. Okay, there we go. And make sure this one's right as well. Okay. I think that will do it. Yes, there we go. Okay. And then I have to pick a card base color. So I really want to play off of one of the flowers here. So I think I'm going to go with a passionate pink card base because it'll really make that pink pop. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's layer these two panels together and then we'll do our greeting. And then I'm going to show you the quick technique of stamping on an A2. All right. So let's just get our greeting panel done. And then we'll move on to the next step. What did I do there? I need my mono sand eraser to call it into duty. It's just a little. That is actually nothing. That is part of the leaf there, but there was a little sticky stuff on there. So, and that's going to get hidden anyway, I believe, because we're going to pop our greeting right in the center like that. And that makes it really look like an S, doesn't it? Okay. So I'm going to use my Misty once again to stamp my greeting. And I'm going to use one of those little white circles that I cut out. And I'm going to put a tiny dot of tape on the back. And I'm going to just pop it right onto my mat. So let's see. What should I stamp? How about if I stamp one of the greetings from the original Wreath Builder? A friend like you is hard to find. I could do that. Or I could use that sketched Wreath Builder again and do another birthday card. Because honestly, I always need birthday cards. What do you think? Should I use that one again? I could definitely use an oval in the center. No, I think I'll go with the original Wreath Builder again. Ooh, wait. I am going to use autumn because I'm going to make a thank you card. And then I'll add a little flower sprig, a little thing underneath. Okay, so I'm going to use the thanks so very much image from the Autumn Wreath Builder. Since the whole card uses the Autumn Wreath Builder, if you like this one, then you don't have to try to find a different stamp set to do the greeting. And a thank you card is always appropriate any time of the year, not just in the autumn. Okay, so I've got my greeting there. And then I think since I went with the pink idea, let's see. Maybe I should just do a little sprig going across. I think I'll do that. I think I will go with this, just going across in here like this. And then I'll color it to match. So we'll use that fresh asparagus again, and then we'll add that other green. There we go. And then we'll add this green. This marker is called New Leaf. It's Copic YG23. And all of our dye inks are Copic safe. So if you're looking for, you want to color on colored ink, all of our dye inks do work with Copics. Our amalgam ink works with Copics, watercolor, and Gamsol. But our dye inks work beautifully with Copic markers. Okay, so we will pop this out and adhere it together on this black circle. And then I think we should use a few foam squares to pop it up. I think that will give it the perfect look if it's popped up just a bit. Boy, I didn't adhere that well at all. I blame it on moving. Can I do that? Can I blame it on moving? And I'm going to use our black foam squares since this is a black circle. Just do 3. I don't know if you ever saw the way these come out of this, but let me back up just a hair so I'm not too close. But ThermoWeb designed this box so that the foam squares, if you pull on the tab, they release one at a time. Isn't that cool? And then they don't get stuck to everything else in your drawer. And then you can just pull off, the excess, or trim off the excess. Just leave enough of a tail to pull. Blame it on April Fool's Day. I know, I couldn't think of something fast enough, an April Fool's thing. And besides, you have to be careful. You do an April Fool's thing and people don't always find practical jokes all that funny. So, all right, so there is my second card. That's a fun style, isn't it? Super easy, and it takes up your whole card front, so you can stick with that A2 style. So we've got 2 finished cards here. Now I'm going to just show you how to stamp a wreath at the top of an A2 size card. So this way you can have a wreath at the top, and you can have a greeting, like a bold greeting at the bottom. And it almost looks more like a door, kind of that rectangle with your wreath hanging there and then your greeting at the bottom. And for that, you want to do a very, very fluffy style wreath. All right, so I don't even have a piece of cardstock. Oh, do I? Is this piece work? Yeah, this will work. I'm going to cut a quick 3 3/4 inch by 5 inch panel. And this is the same size as Master Layouts 1. It's the smaller of the 2 rectangles. And then what you're going to do is, normally you would put your cardstock and drop it into the template, but all you're going to do is drop the top 2 pieces, the top 2 corners into your template. Okay, so we'll do that same stamp, and we'll make this really super fluffy. Okay, so I'm going to turn that just out like that. Maybe a little bit straighter. I don't want it too fluffy. Okay, so we're going to put just the top 2 pieces in the corner. And again, I'll use fresh asparagus for this. And I'm going to stamp it. Now, What you're going to do is you're just going to move the top 2 corners into the next spot in the wreath builder. And you're going to do the same thing again. You can see that part of your cardstock is hanging out over the MISTI, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. That's not going to affect anything. This is the Autumn Wreath Builder stamp set that I'm using. Doing the same thing again. You can see I'm hanging out the side of the MISTI. It's okay. Do the same thing again. Only those top 2 corners. I don't care what's happening with the rest of my piece of cardstock. Doesn't bother me. It's not going to hurt a thing. You can do the same thing again here. So I hope this is making sense. Okay. I'm only worried about these. If you have trouble remembering which end you're working with, just put a tiny little pencil dot on those 2 corners. You can erase them afterwards. This way you always know which end you're moving into the template. It's 2 little pencil dots. Moving those top 2 in again. And after you've done this once or twice, then you won't even need the pencil dots anymore. You'll know what you're doing. And the last turn. So normally this would fit into the entire template, but you only need your top 2 to be in the template. So now you've got this beautiful wreath at the top of your card, and then you could do a big, chunky, bold sentiment down here at the bottom. We'll add the flowers. We'll do the same little flower trick again. So this way, you know, you guys can see the alternating color in this template and in this larger format as well. So I'm picking right up there as my first one. We'll start with the Passionate Pink. And remember, when we're alternating colors, we're just doing the square sides. So now we're moving these 2 edges, those 2 corners, into the next square orientation. And then we're doing the same thing again. We're moving them, we're skipping that, and we're going right down here like this. Just dropped my ink. Let me just fix that. Okay. And then we're moving to this side. So all we did was skip those diamond sides. Okay, we're leaving the stamp on the MISTI. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Hello and welcome. All right, so I'm going to just tap that to clean it. Now I am turning to the diamond orientation. And I'll do my second color, which will be the Wild Lilac again. This is a really fun thing to do for spring too. Doesn't it just, you know, spring cards. Spring says wreaths to me. Everybody's starting to put like wreaths on their door. So I'm skipping here and I'm going to here. And if you have to actually do that motion just to make sure you're in the right spot, go ahead and do it.
Well, that's an interesting. Sandra said, would it work to wood grain the base card and then add the wreath like it is on a door?
Oh, that would be beautiful. Yeah, you should try that. If you do that, Sandra, share it in our Facebook group so that we can all see it. See what I did? I almost did it, not paying attention. Diamond orientation. Luckily, right before you press down with the stamp, you can look to see if you're going in a blank spot. Whew, I could just feel you all getting ready to scream at me. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I would love to see that. Okay, so there is a wreath. And if you want, you know, you can add another flower in here because you're not, let's add another one just for fun, because you're not filling it in with a word. I know it's getting late. I know it's after 1. I know we got to move. I don't care. I'd rather be with you guys. So we'll add one more flower going around. And I'm using turquoise C for this. So again, I'm just going to go on all the squares. Here we go. I have something that I want to say to you all too when I'm done. So hang in there with me. You know, and you can stop at just the squares. Maybe the squares are all you want for the inside of the wreath. Maybe you don't want it to be so busy on the inside. Maybe that's enough for you. I kind of enjoy having that little splash of color in there. So I'm going to add one more color on the diamonds. But I feel like I need a different color. What color, what color, what color? Well, a blue would be really pretty, but that turquoise is kind of blue. How about a bright orange? Should we do a little tangerine twist in there just for fun? I mean, it is spring. Let's do tangerine. Okay, first diamond skip, second diamond. You could do yellow too. Yellow would be pretty. Skip. And my last one.
So some questions for the future, how to use the inside template and the mini template.
Good idea. I will definitely show you that as well, because wreath building, we might as well keep going because springtime is a perfect time for wreaths. And then, of course, you could color those in. You could add a nice big bold greeting down here. You could tie a ribbon and put it on there. And you can make a really, really pretty, pretty design. You're wondering about the ring on my middle finger? Yeah, this is a ring that I love. It's got a turquoise. It's got a blue. I'm trying to think what that is. It's like, it's not an expensive stone like a taupe. It might be a topaz. So a turquoise, a topaz, and then it's got a little opal in there. I'm not sure if it's a real opal. And then it's a Gucci ring. Okay, so that is how to do that. Here are my other cards that I made, and I'll be posting pictures of these. Maybe I'll even finish this card and post a picture of this later. All right. So, wow. So by Sunday night, Tom and I should be all moved out. You know, we really thought that we would be all moved out by yesterday, which was the last day of our lease over there. And our landlord is being so gentle with us and gracious, giving us grace, which we need. But we all need that, right? And sometimes, you know, you feel mad at yourself. You think, why didn't I get this done? Or I should have been able to do this, or I should have been able to do that. You know, it's hard to put a timeline on those big things that you think are going to be easier to achieve than they actually are. So here's my little sentiment for today. And I hope that this helps you because it helped me when I read it last night. When your head hits the pillow tonight, remind yourself that you're all right. You're doing a great job. Be patient with yourself and remember, big things aren't achieved all at once, but rather one day at a time. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll be back on Monday night with another video for you. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy. I love you all so much, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.